Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's KG here, and I'm just gonna have a brief video today talking about the Vizio P Series X and the review that Linus did on Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel. So this is sort of a hot button issue, as this is the first real public review that was released for this TV, and other than the information that we had from Vizio's website that they released, and the spec sheets that they put out months and months ago, there's not too much known about how this TV performs. Now, there is a few key concerns in this review / overview that I really want to touch on. And it is something that is kind of bugging me ever since I've seen this video, because it's very, very, very concerning. Now, one thing I do want you guys to keep in mind is they did say this was an engineering sample. It's sort of like a prototype. So do keep that in mind, though I do kind of have some questions about that. Why is Vizio sending them a review sample that's a prototype? This unit actually didn't even have HDMI 2.1 available at the time. They said it's going to be something that's going to be pushed into a firmware update, but it will be live day one apparently. That is just something that is kind of perplexing to me, that they wouldn't have that ready to go. Why are they sending engineer samples in for the review? And I don't know when this review was filmed. Maybe it's just was something that was filmed a while back and now it's just getting released, as the TVs are going to release soon. So maybe that was the window that they wanted to release it in. We really just don't know. So was this kind of a rushed sort of situation by Vizio? Really, it's kind of unknown. Like I'm saying, it is very, very odd though. I mean, this was a lackluster performance, to say the least, from a lot of aspects. Now, this isn't something that like Linus was paid to say good things about Vizio on. Like, this is just, he took out the TV and he said the pros and he said the cons. Granted, they did kind of defend it a little bit, to the extent of, hey, look, it is a budget sort of 75-inch TV. If you can call the $2,000 TV budget, but still, you have to think about their perspective and their relationship they want to keep with Vizio, I guess, to that degree. But they were pretty much pointing out some flaws, so you have to give them credit there. All right, now moving on to one of the issues, well, really probably the biggest issue that Linus pointed out was this white dot test that they did. This TV did not perform very well at all. The white dot displayed a motion trail, and it also just did not perform very well in the local dimming, the full array local dimming aspect. So what this tells me is either one or two things. So one, they got a bad unit and this engineering sample is just terrible. Or two, this is just the way it is for the TV. Now, we really hope it's not two, because that would be very, very disappointing, because this unit was kind of one of the highly sought after options for a bright TV to kind of combat that Q90T category. So what you're looking at here is maybe this TV is not as good as we all hoped it would be. We really hope this isn't the case, but it's kind of a wait and see kind of thing, as this is only one overview. It's not even a real review. It was more like, hey, this is my hands-on experience, 10 minutes or so with the TV, maybe 30 minutes condensed down, So it's really too early to say overall, but the tests that we did see did perform very poorly, and that's a little disappointing to see. Now, another thing I guess I could point out is Vizio is known for really bad quality control. So this absolutely could be a bad model. But you would think the people at Vizio would test this before they send it out? I don't know. Moving on to the next thing that kind of concerned me was when they were playing games. They played Counter-Strike, and that's a very high motion game. And I think he had the TV running at 1440p 120 hertz. So when he is moving the mouse back and forth, you shouldn't really see too much ghosting. But he did display that there was ghosting. And this is an issue because you really don't want to see this from a gaming TV, especially one that is touting, 120 hertz support, right? Now, his partner mentioned that when you crank up the overdrive, you get overshoot. Now, when you get overshoot, that's how you get inverse ghosting, which is kind of like you battle ghosting with the risk of introducing inverse ghosting. And that's what we seen Samsung battle early on with the release of the Q90T that had inverse ghosting issues. And I think we're seeing a very similar issue potentially popping up here. Now, they didn't show inverse ghosting to the degree Q90T had it. They really just showed it to the where it was a white trail, and that's like normal ghosting, really. But the way he described it really fits the inverse ghosting profile. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. Now, when a TV manufacturer is tuning the overdrive on a TV, it runs the risk of introducing too much inverse ghosting if it cranks it up too much, and if it cranks it too low, then it introduces regular ghosting. So it's kind of a battle that they have to fight with, and this is something that LCD VA panels have been fighting with. So I really think this is what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing that this TV is either tuned wrong for overdrive, or it's just a poor unit overall. I think it's likely to be more of an overdrive issue, similar to how the Q90T was. And they fixed this with a firmware update, so we're really hopeful that Vizio could do the same, right? So one thing you got to keep in mind when you're talking about gaming TVs, they're never going to be true gaming monitors, and I think that's what everybody needs to keep in mind. So really, when you want the best kind of motion out of a game, the best TV by far for motion is definitely going to be an OLED. Now, the other one is going to be Samsung because of Game Motion Plus. The next issue is probably going to just be that Smart OS is still being used, and it still looks really clunky and horrible, but it does seem like it's faster, so there's that. Now, another thing about that is they mentioned that the network quality of the TV was bad, so maybe it was a bad network card, or just what they're using is poor. So it seemed like it had a really bad Wi-Fi connection. Now, my Vizio TV actually has pretty good Wi-Fi connection, so I doubt they would just downgrade this. This could just be a really bad engineering issue, which is still really poor to see. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the amount of blooming that was displayed. Not just on the image itself, but a massive amount when he was in YouTube. Now, I understand that when you see menus, sometimes blooming is exaggerated, and I also understand that blooming is very exaggerated on camera, but this was really extreme looking, and I've filmed my YouTube before on my LCD VA panel, which is the Q90T, and I don't have that issue with blooming to that extent. So I don't know if it was a combination of the lights or what, but it just looked like that blooming was very horrible, and the full array local dimming was just not working there at all. It looked terrible. But like I said, it could just be a combination of lights or anything like that. Another thing that also could be attributed to lights is the reflections. This TV looked super reflective, and if you're looking for a TV in a bright room, that's going to be something you want to keep in mind. Though, until we actually see it or see more people review it, I can't really comment on that aspect yet. The last thing is, you all have to keep in mind this is an engineering sample. As poor as that sounds as an excuse, that's the truth. And why they were sent this so close to the release date of the TV is still very mind-boggling. I still feel like Vizio kind of dropped the ball here. Now, if you're in the market for this TV, that's great. I think it still could be a really good TV. But just keep in mind and wait for some reviews to come out before purchasing this TV. In my opinion, the longer you wait with TVs this year, If you could wait till November, if you haven't already pulled the trigger on a TV, then wait, because all the prices are going to be cheaper. I mean, I'm already seeing record prices on the Q90T, which is crazy because I bought it at like 2200, and at that time I was like, oh, this is a good deal for the 65-inch. But listen, wait, because TV manufacturers are kind of struggling to move TVs in big box stores right now because of the coronavirus, and a lot of people aren't, Best Buy and stuff isn't packed, and they're not moving units like they usually are. So expect a little bit lower TV prices than usual. Anyway, there's so much more I could say about this review, but I kind of want to keep this under 12 minutes if I can. But hey man, rambling happens, and when you're really passionate about TVs like I am, you just got a lot to say. You really do just got a lot to say on the subject. It kind of blew my mind, this review did. Very, very poor. I don't want to attack Vizio, and I don't want to make it seem like I hate Vizio. I actually like Vizio. They just have really bad quality control, and this kind of proves it. So I always use caution when recommending Vizio, because I know that what I'm recommending could end up being a bad TV. But they do make great TVs. So that's kind of the catch-22 in this situation. You really don't know. You never know. That's the thing. You really never know with Vizio. Well, that's really all I got to say about the subject. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And if you can share this video, that'll really help me out. I appreciate you guys, everything that you're doing, and keep responding in the comments. I love talking to you guys. So let's just keep up this community. And thank you all again. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.